and welcome to the Financial Times' Business of Luxury Summit here in sunny San Francisco. I'm joined by Frederic Cumenal, who is the CEO of Tiffany. It's a job he's held for 3 years. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Cumenal.
Thank you, Gillian.
Now, Tiffany is one of the world's best-loved brands, very iconic, and yet your share price has fallen by about 25% over the last year. What are you going to do to reverse those investor concerns?
We have very clear plans in mind that have been communicated to all of our shareholders, investors, and analysts that basically are articulated about, to continue to make the brand more relevant to every audiences, but in particular more relevant to the millennial, because this younger generation have a different way of consuming luxury, and the interaction they have with different brands, luxury brands, is different from the past. And we have all of an array of action and action plan that is on the move. So, the truth is that the world is very difficult right now for all of luxury brands, and frankly, in the past year, we as an American-based company where everything is reported in US dollars, we suffered from a very strong appreciation of the US currency by more than 20%. So 25% stock value, 20% appreciation of the dollar could have been worse.
So how much of the current decline do you think is to do with structural problems, and how much is cyclical problems? Is it 90-10? I mean, how do you see it?
It's obviously very difficult to give a specific number, but I will argue for the sake of discussion that is probably half-half. I mean, probably, all of us in luxury, we are facing, real opportunities and difficulties, and just because we need to learn how to better deal and cope with the younger generation. But the second part of it, we have been and we are in a world right now where Europe is in crisis, terrorism is worse and worse. Great Britain wants to leave Europe and to evolve in the middle of the ocean by herself. Hong Kong is in disarray, punished by the Chinese government. Yeah. So, this is a tough world. So a part of it, I guess, is more cyclical than purely structural, but I have to be humble. I don't know. So the way we see things at Tiffany is that this is our responsibility. We have to take care of all of that.
So how are you trying to rebrand yourself for the millennial generation that doesn't necessarily want to live the same way as their parents and buy the same jewelry?
Yeah, I will say that we are extremely encouraged and positive with this younger generation. We are encouraged by the fact that what we are as a brand, what we stand for, deeply resonate to their ears. And I'm just going to give a couple of examples. We as a brand, we have the tightest, the strictest responsibility, or we see ourselves having a very, very strong responsibility on Mother Earth. And our corporate social responsibility is really, really very strong. This does resonate with millennials because they care about brands that are deeply engaged on these fronts.
So you're green diamonds, if you like.
Yeah, but we always did. This is the beauty for us of being fully integrated. We know what we are doing. We don't buy everywhere. And when we buy somewhere, we try to do good for the local communities. So it's not a perfect world. I'm not saying that there is no such things as angels, but frankly, we're at the forefront of trying to improve this world.
Right. Do you see the Chinese consumer coming back anytime soon?
Chinese consumers are fickle. They are. Look at the numbers of Chinese travelers. It was more than 100 million last year, and I'm betting for probably 120 million, of Chinese visiting overseas. Truth, we've all seen that the Chinese authorities introduced stricter rules and regulations on import products. In other words, if you're a Chinese consumer traveling abroad, when buying goods and coming back home, you're at risk of having to pay taxes, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that. But the way, on the short run, we have to confess that it apparently impacted consumption, Chinese purchases abroad, okay? At the same time, you know, it's as much as I'm fascinated by China, I have to confess that I can't predict the next move from the Chinese government.
Well, I don't think anyone can, but thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.